Hello and welcome back to MindSpanse. I'm Craig. Thank you for joining me today. I want to talk about how becoming more present or allowing presence to evolve from its quiet place within you brings out the details. So there's a subtlety of the world around us, and the more present we become, the more we tap into that fabric, and the more those little subtleties start to stand out. And it's, I have an example that I use, and it's when I first started rock climbing, which was when I was young. Rock climbing, by the way, is like the scariest thing when you first start for most people, like me, because someone is good enough to convince you to drag you to some cliff, put you in a bunch of gear, and start climbing up the cliff, and you're supposed to climb behind them, and you're like, what are you talking about? And there's a lot of anxiety, and you're worried that the rope's going to break, and the holds are not going to hold, and the guy's going to drop you if he's belaying you. So there's all these things going on, and the cliff itself looks completely flat. It's not like an indoor climbing gym where there are holds and whatnot. It's a cliff, and you're supposed to find where the best holds are and how to move your body and whatnot. And so when you don't know any of this stuff, like anything, it really looks completely like, it's like trying to read a book where you don't know any of the vocabulary. It's just sort of words on a page, and you're just struggling, you're fighting, and the guy I would train with, and my brother also was really helpful, was always like, don't fight the rock, and I never understood what that meant for a long time. But then one day it dawned on me what it means is that the rock is not doing anything to you. The rock is not your enemy. The cliff is your palette that's there for you to explore and to become sort of at one with the wall, and to find its little nooks and crannies and subtle places, and to not exert yourself, and to keep moving, and little by little, you don't have to make these big leaps to get up. Just making one little step up, all of a sudden extend your hand to another hold potentially, and all holds all around you are places where you can push or pull. And I had a great instructor once who taught me that I can only climb that whole day with my hands below here. And so it forces you to push instead of pull, because the inclination is to use your arms and pull yourself when you first start, but you realize your arms are not the strongest muscles, your legs are, and then you start push up, and you pushing on your arms you can do that all day long, and pulling, you get really tired, and your fingers get tired and whatnot. So the point of all this is that it's a great metaphor for so many things. I use it for metaphors for business, and certainly for meditation practice and presence, because when you become quiet, when your fear starts to dissipate, you become more familiar with something, when you start to trust your tools, and that can be your life tools, it's the same. When you start to trust yourself, you become more confident, and you are allowed to flourish, and that allows your mind to quiet. It allows the noise to just be and float around and float away, while you have more intensity and energy on what you're doing right now. And you go back 6 months or a year later to the same cliff, and all of a sudden that cliff that used to be completely flat looks like it has caverns that you can hold on to. And it's really amazing. And I've taken many people climbing over the years, their first climb, and it's always roughly the same. And you're just like, don't fight the wall. They're like fighting against the wall, and it's just, they burn out their arms and their fingers, and it's a process to teach people how to become one with the wall. And it's the same with life and clouds. Like Whether you're just walking, or it was a gray day. It's cloudy today a little bit, but it's beautiful. But when you quiet yourself and allow yourself to be quiet, and breathe, stretch if you feel a little stressed, relax your shoulders and your jaw, close your eyes even, and just listen to the sounds of the ocean or the plane and the wind, the cars. And as you quiet down and quiet down, all of a sudden the gray clouds start to have many, many, many colors. You see all the different colors and how the shadows intertwine and how they sort of move around each other and through each other and the different layers. And it's really beautiful, right? And what I try to teach through all these different meditations and techniques that I have on the channel is really, it's not this grand journey. It's just discovering or rediscovering the truth within, rediscovering the quiet within that's always there, and just letting the outer stuff sort of dissipate and melt. And in doing so, all the subtle energy, all the subtle colors, all the subtle sounds that you might not normally hear just elevate, and your life elevates and your experience elevates. And what happens is that instead of living in sort of time, nice bird, there are hawks, there's hawks everywhere around here, they're so cool, beautiful birds. And all of a sudden, you elevate your entire existence to a point where time, you're outside of time. You're present, not in the sense of time, but you're present in the sense that all of your energy and focus is here. And by doing that, time, you step outside of the boundaries of time. And all of a sudden there's this incredible rush of energy and love. And I say this all the time too, is like, a lot of people are afraid of that quiet place because they're so busy all the time. And so they feel like, well, if I get to that place, then I'm going to be bored and there's nothing there. But that's just not true. It's an amazing place to be. And it's probably the biggest challenge for most people when they start a practice. And I just tell them, when you're starting your practice, like, don't try so hard. I'm going to do another video just on that, not trying so hard. But just don't try so hard. Just, let things go little by little, one little step. Like when you're climbing, it's that one little step that it opens up a whole new universe of possibilities. Something you couldn't reach, something you couldn't move, some way you couldn't angle yourself. By moving 2 or 3 inches up or to the left or to the right, expands your palette in a whole new world. And I think it's a wonderful metaphor for life. If you've never tried climbing, you should try it. Find a good guide who's safe, and or you could do it indoor climbing. You can practice a lot of these things. It's not quite the same, but it's very similar in terms of how you learn to move your body, and understanding that when you do move a little bit in one way or up or even down sometimes, it changes the whole dynamic in the face in terms of what you can and cannot do. So with that, I'm going to wish you all a phenomenal day. It's Christmas Day, so I'm looking forward to Christmas Eve, and I wish everyone just a beautiful, beautiful holiday season. And remember that just to slow down a little bit, take this time to do some breathing and just close your eyes and listen, and just don't be afraid of that quiet place, and because there's just so much there that you'll realize greatly extends and elevates your life. So thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with friends. And I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.